So today the topic is the task number 6, plan and manage schedule. So where we will go and look at uh, uh, the activities, milestones, okay, and then what is this historical data benchmarks? How do we prepare the schedule based on the methodology, and how do we modify, okay, and then how do we present the, I mean, reporting structures, and also the formats of schedules. Okay, those are the high level outputs out of this today's topic. Let me open OneNote. CFS. Okay, so today the topic is plan and manage schedule. So when do we start the schedule? When do we start developing the schedule? Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So through which, when do we actually start developing the schedule in our project life cycle?
Once the plan, everything is finalizes. The, uh,
Project
the
is
next will be
finalized. No, the project charter should be finalized. Your plan means what you're talking about, the high level project charter or what?
high level project charter.
Okay.
So
So
once it is fixed and finalized, we have to fix the schedule, like the time duration, uh, 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 which activity to be performed on which timing,
no, yeah,
and
that is part of this exercise we will do. So during the planning, we do all these activities. Okay, but what are the precedence processes in order to start your schedule, development of the schedule? What do we need? What are the sources, inputs? I'll put a process plan. Okay, I should increase. I think here I put this. Okay, plan, schedule, management, right? So what are the inputs? Okay, so the inputs should be the charter, right? And the development approach, correct?
yes.
Definitely, development approach helps you start the plan schedule management. But what is the output? One output we will get. What is that document will get out of plan schedule management? What is the output?
You want to say end result?
Yeah, not the entire. See the plan schedule management, right? What is the output?
Uh, on time result.
No. There will be one document, schedule management plan, right? So this is the process. Plan schedule management is the first process inside schedule management. The first process. So in that, so what do we do? Oh, we will get a plan, schedule management plan. Okay, so we have to determine uh, how we can perform the schedule or how we can define the activities. See, all these subsidiary plans will give you, it only talks about one thing. How do we conduct that particular area, right? The previous knowledge area is your scope, plan scope management. The document is scope management plan. So inside scope management plan, what it describes? So it describes about how do we define the scope, how do we collect requirements, correct? How do we prioritize the requirements? How do we create the work breakdown? What are the tools and techniques we have to use? So all that how part will be described in any of the subsidiary plans, correct? So
Yes.
similarly, schedule management plan describes about describes about how do we how okay do we define, okay, I'm poor in writing, okay, define activities, okay, and then schedule model, okay, schedule model. We will discuss what is schedule model, what, okay, which tool we should use, okay, yeah, what, then what is the um then how to define activities, what is the schedule model to be used, what is the tool to be used, yes, and then what is our threshold limits, okay, tolerance limits, threshold limits, etc. So this, all these, how to do it, how do I define all of them, will be described inside the schedule management plan document, okay. So very important document in order to go forward. Okay, so the next process inside the schedule management is define activities, correct?
Yes.
Define activities. Define activities is a process. Now tell me, what are the inputs? So when you want to detail your activities, we need the high level work package, right?
Yes.
That high level work package is coming from the work breakdown structure process, WBS, correct?
Mm.
So your
Yes.
WBS is your input, okay? So we need to have WBS, the input to define your activities, detailed your activities. How to define is there here, and then we know how to do it, but what are the inputs? So all your high level is your inputs. So basically, if you see your plan, you'll have a high level as design. If you take design as a work package, okay, you compare your, see this, even this WBS, your scope, part of your scope baseline, correct? The earlier knowledge area scope baseline, the WBS is also part of scope baseline and also project scope statement. So in the PSS scope statement, you will have the entire scope of the project. So based on the scope, you will go and detail your activities. We know design. So under what are the things to design? What will come part of design? So maybe if you are into mechanical erection or so, we need lot of equipments. Okay, so boilers, chillers, correct. A lot. Okay, HVAC products. So we will have their specific designing according to your facility. Okay, we will keep inlets, outlets, a lot of design. So all those we need to define into a detailed activities. Okay, so in order to detail your activities, we need the WBS as an initial input. Okay, so what do we get? So what is the output of this process? What are the outputs of define activities? At least tell me one direct output. You don't go any other way. Just be here. Just think about this particular process. What is the meaning of the process? What are we doing actually? We are defining activities.
Yes, activities.
Okay, we are defining the activities. What do we get? Activities we will get, right? So activities list. Okay.
List of activities.
List of activities. That's it. Activities list. Activities list is the right word, or list of activities. So along with activities, we will also get the milestone list. Along with the activities, we also get the milestones list. Okay. So identifying the milestones, I think they will do it, as a high level during the WBS itself. They'll list out all the milestones. Okay. In the industry practice, what they do is they list all the milestones on the top of their plan and followed by their activities, and they will link a set of activities to that milestone. If you observe the project management plans, the real project management plans in any industry, if you take, they'll have all the list of milestones on the top of their page, and in the bottom they'll have all the list, and they will connect that list to a milestones. Okay, that is one approach. Okay, but now let us understand the real flow. So which is the best practice, which is the best approach? How do I define my milestones inside your Gantt charts? Okay. And also there is one more output along with milestones list is activities attributes. Okay, activities attributes is also one of the output out of activity. When you have a activity list, let us say, employees list. If you take an employee list, employee name, so what are the attributes? Employee ID, employee joining date, correct? Employee experience, specialist in what domain, what are the skill set, correct? What is, package or whatever the salary, what is his timings. So these are all the employee attributes. Similarly, if you take an activity, a particular activity will have a lot of attributes, so which we need to know some of them. Some of them is really mandatory for us to know. We know the ID, activity ID, the WBS ID, the activity name, start date, finish date, durations, right? So these are all the activities attributes. And this attribute is a document, project document, which will keep updating till you close the project. Because every area, tomorrow when you connect with the resources, when you assign responsibilities, okay, the responsible name will add as an extra attribute. And a person, if he is assigned, how long he is working, how many hours he is being spending on the task, the effort will be again a new attribute. And upon the effort, how much of the cost you are paying, that will be an attribute, right? And tomorrow when you take it to execution, okay, what is the progress of the task? The percentage complete is an attribute. What is the actual cost I spent on the task is an attribute. What is the remaining duration is an attribute. So these are all the attributes. So that will keep adding to the plan, to the activities till it completes. Okay. So these are the primary outputs out of defining activities. So using these activities, so I got all the list of activities and also the list of milestones. And what should I do next? Once you have the activities, what do we do? In order to develop the schedule or in order to build the schedule, we have to go and do the sequence of the activities. So the next process is sequence. Activities. Okay. Okay, sequence activities is the next process. So obviously the input is activities list.
Activities list, milestone list.
activities list and also milestone list. Fine. Activities list and also milestones list. And okay. So what do we get out of the sequencing activities process? What do we get out of the sequence activities process? So when you establish the relationship types between two activities, a relationship can be assigned or can be established between two tasks, right? So we can use all those four types of relationships: finish to start, start to start, finish to finish, start to finish, right? Using all of them, we will go and estimate. So I'll show you practically in MS project. So that is why I'm limiting this first half to the theory part. Okay. So we will do all that sequence, and ultimately we will get the schedule network diagram.
Is it like a flow line?
It's a flow line. Okay. But this network diagram is in the form of precedence diagramming model or precedence diagramming method. We get it as a PDM method, which is important because which has a links between a task to task. Okay. According to the dependency what you establish. Okay. We will see how it connects. So we know, right? So a task will be there. If you keep two activities like this, okay, task A and then the task B, if both are connected in finish to start, it will be like this, FS. The relationship is FS and both are connected like this. So it forms a network. If tomorrow, if you have more number of activities, it will be like this. And there are two tasks which are starting after B, the representation will be like this. After B, these two, C and D, are starting. And we have a finished milestone. In order to complete this milestone, I need to complete C, also D. It will be represented like this, finish date. Okay, this is a start. The overall representation, we call this as a precedence diagramming method, PDM. In PDM, it will be like this. Okay. All that schedule network diagram will be represented in this fashion. Okay, let's go and later in another 10 to 15 minutes we will go to Microsoft project and practically see how it works, and let us deeply understand what are the relationship types, all four relationship types, how it works, and what is lead and lag, because these are all tools and techniques for sequence activities. Relationship types and leads and lags are the tools and techniques. Okay. And then I would like to bring, okay, I will put it here. I'll bring the presentation. Okay. I have the presentation behind. I'll copy this. Then maybe bring it here. Okay. Is it visible?
Yes.
Okay. The same, what I have been doing here is the same. So these are the processes. These are the planning processes inside schedule management. Plan schedule management, define activities, sequence activities, estimate activity durations, and develop schedule. Okay, so how long do we document it here? Till sequence activities, right? So sequence activities will give output as schedule network diagram. I'll add it here. I'll just add it here. Schedule network diagram. Okay. Schedule network diagram. Right. So in this, using using schedule network diagram, we can do a lot of analysis. All that analysis we will do as part of develop schedule. But there is one more process here: estimate duration, estimate activity durations. Okay, what are the estimation techniques are available? Okay, and how do we estimate an activity duration? So once we estimate what we will get, so once we estimate the activity duration, we will get the duration of the project, right? Duration of task and roll up to the project. Okay, we will get the durations and also resource estimates, because without the resources you cannot estimate the duration. So these two goes hand in hand with the available resources and their availability, capability and capacity. You can get the right duration, right? Okay.
Yes.
So resources, estimation of resource effort is also required in order to get the duration. And when it comes to develop schedule, okay, once you develop the schedule, we will get the total timeline of the project, timelines, overall timelines, because we may get a rough estimations here. Overall, we may get the total after sequencing, we will get the duration. Let's say some 90 days or 100 days. Okay, but your customer says, no, 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 this 100 is not possible. I have only 80 days. So you people have to complete the project within 80 days. If he says like that, what do we need to do? So we have to
We have
come
to
back.
increase the resource.
Yeah, it has two ways. To compress the schedule, it has two ways. Maybe one is the crashing, the other one is a fast tracking. As you said, crashing is increasing the resources in order to reduce the duration. But that is not always a procedure, because generally crashing involves a lot of cost, right? So during the planning, we may not go and do the crashing, because with the available resources in your hand, you estimated, correct? All the
Yes.
durations and the sequencing. And if customer doesn't agree with the total duration, we need to rework on the dependencies. Okay, so we have to rework on the network analysis. There we will get the critical path method, CPM. We'll get the CPM method, how to compress the schedule. Okay, so increasing the resources generally happens during the crisis, or maybe when we are into an issue. Okay, that when do we get issues? During execution. So that time, if you don't have anywhere possibility, we'll try to increase the manpower in order to complete the schedule. But there is one more compression technique, fast tracking. Okay, remodifying the logical dependency, um, running activities in parallel wherever is possible in order to adjust the overall duration of the project. So that happens part of develop schedule, and then we will get the timelines.
Sir, in any case, you have to increase the resources, right? Like if you want to do parallel activities, in that case also you require more resources.
That is what by next.
Correct me, sir.
Yeah, yeah. See, that is one approach. See,
Okay.
that is one approach. See, if you alone doing on two activities, which are in one after the other, because you can only do, we can only address one task at a time. So if you alone doing that on the two activities, if I run those two activities in parallel, definitely you will be over allocated. And in that case, in order to reduce the over allocation, I need one more person to help you. So you both can complete it. So one resource one working on task A, resource two working on task B, so that we need additional resources. But there are some places, some scenarios, like all that design part is done by a design team. Okay, and the all the procurements relating, procurement items, the finance guys are taking up. Okay, so they can start working along with the design. When design starts, they also can start working and start evaluating the vendors, correct, with selecting the vendors, doing the market research, all of the background work they can do it. And then they can also start releasing the purchase orders for the selected vendors. So in this case, two different activities with two different departments, are running in parallel. So that is nothing but the fast tracking, right? So I can run these two department activities in parallel, okay, based on the information availability. So the procurement may not be, we may not release the purchase orders initial days of the project, but once we get the complete clarity on some of the equipments of design, so some of the designs are, finalized. According to that, we can go and start procuring those items so that at least some of the items will be on board. Based on our manpower in hand, I can start executing some of the work, right? So that I can
Yes.
advance the work. Okay. Yeah. So that is one part. Okay. Yeah. So let's, okay. So initially, at this point itself, to develop schedule management itself, we have to identify the model, schedule model, correct? So the initial step is to identify fixing the schedule model, how you would like to develop your schedule. So one way of developing schedule, one approach is the forward scheduling approach. Okay, forward approach. So in this approach, what we generally do is, so we will fix the start date of the project. We decide the start of the project. Okay, and then asking the tool to estimate the projected finish date. Projected finish. So tool will calculate and gives you the projected finish date. So this is one approach. It's always a forward scheduling approach. So we are here today, and then we will schedule all the scope items with the logical dependencies in order to get the projected finish date or estimated finish date. These are all synonyms: planned finish date or estimated finish date. I'll put plan estimated finish date. So similarly, there is one more approach, which we call it as reverse approach. So the other way around. So we will fix the finish date. This particular project should be completed on so and so date. Okay. So in order to complete this project at this date, on this date, with all the scope, with this scope, when should I start? So tool will calculate and gives you the estimated start date.
Yes.
Okay. So this is the another approach. So reverse approach, it's like re-engineering. So we will go to the finish date. From there, you have to plan. Okay. So if I want to complete this project here, maybe by this I need to complete the testing. By this quarter, I need to complete the what is that? Product customization. Maybe by this month, I should complete the procurement. In order to complete the procurement, I should start design here. In order to complete the design here, I need to start my project somewhere in the month of April or June, whatever. So that is, reverse engineering. So we need to first go and pick up the model, on which model you want to go and perform your schedule. And also we need to decide on which tool are we using, which tool supports your model. Okay, tool we need to decide. Okay, so see, we have the Microsoft. So when you want to practically implement your schedule, so the one tool will help is the MS Project, and we also have one more similar kind of tool, Primavera P6. Okay, these are the two leading international project management tools basically gives you the, the schedule, and also the cost, resources, everything we can estimate and plan, and really look at the Gantt charts. Okay, so the formats of scheduling also we need to decide. The format is the Gantt chart. Okay, Gantt chart format. Okay, so we'll get a lot of other charts also. One is a Gantt chart, one maybe, the tabular form of the task list. Okay, any other forms we need to finalize. So then we can take it up to the practical scenarios. Let's open Microsoft Project. I just open and connect all these processes using, a practical implementation. Okay, I'll just open a new blank project for you to get the feel of it, because see, we can read the book and we can understand the concept well once you read the book, but only thing is we need to get the flow. So that flow is really important for PMI as PMP aspirants. Okay, I'll just save the file with yeah, I'll put it in desktop. Okay, 23rd October 2021. Okay, let's keep this, and I will show you the entire flow, how the schedule. Let me just set some of the options here. Yeah, everything is fine. Yeah, as I said, when you go and start developing your schedule, we need to decide on the schedule model. Okay, so in the project, we have a schedule model, schedule from option, which decides the schedule model. Okay, the schedule from project start date or schedule from project finish date. When I pick up schedule from project start date, this becomes a forward scheduling approach. So that we need to decide, we can decide the start date here. The finish we can't decide, because the system will decide the finish based on your network logic, or based on your activity list, activity durations, and the logic. And the moment you change the approach to the reverse estimation, reverse approach, okay, the start will be disabled and we can set the finish date. Okay, so that tool will estimate and give you the start date. When can you start your project in order to reach this date? Okay, so I will always prefer the, forward scheduling approach when we practically implement in the system. Okay, but the mindset, our mindset should always targeting to the finish date only, right? Our mindset will always target it to the finish date. But when we practically implement, the forward scheduling approach really helps us, because for reverse approach, there are some limitations. Okay, let us discuss as we go forward. Okay, I preferred my schedule approach as forward scheduling approach, and then I can go and set the start date. Let me just put a logical start as Monday. Okay, the coming Monday as the start date of my project. I can say okay. Okay, so what we discussed, so what are the we discussed on the inputs for this. So I just got the input. I have a project charter here. Okay, I have a case study. Okay, we don't have time to read the case study. I'll just jump into the activities. Okay, so I have a project charter, and also I have decided the work breakdown structure. I have a WBS elements also. So in order to start defining your activities, we need the WBS, right? That's the initial step. Let me go and bring that WBS elements. Okay, I'll go to browse, and in one folder I have all that available with LBC, and there is an Excel available. I'll take the initial, I have a, the entire task list, just a list of activities, but within which I also have a work breakdown structure, because in my case study, I'll open that. It should be good. No, there is a case study here available. It's a small IT project, implementation of ERP solution project, and they have given me the high level milestones, and they gave me the high level duration also. In the project charter, they mentioned we need to complete the project within 90 working days. This is what they gave. Okay, and the budget also they assigned, but let us focus on the timelines now. Okay, this is the work breakdown structure they gave. So using that, I already created something in Excel. So now I need to bring this model, this hierarchical model in the WBS as part of WBS. So I will do it. Okay, just observe how I'm doing the WBS creation. So I have all these tasks, and then feasibility becomes the parent. And under this, I have, these are the activities. I'm just creating the work breakdown structure using the tool. And once I create this, then we can go and discuss on activities, attributes, and milestones list. So I just quickly created a WBS, which I can see the level 1 as this. Okay, this is my high level schedule. All right, if I want to see all subtasks, I can open, everything can be seen. So I just quickly created work breakdown. Now we need to look at the activities list. Okay, I think activities list, nothing but creating the line item. I already created it, activities list. And there is one more output out of define activities is milestones list. So I need to identify milestones. See, I don't have kickoff, so I'll insert a new task, kickoff meeting, and I'll put it as 0 day. So the moment you put a 0 day, so it becomes a milestone representation. So milestone, in definition, milestone is a significant event in the plan. Okay, a significant event, which we can define a milestone to a deliverables. Milestone is generally an indication of the completion or indication of an achievement, right? We will see milestones on the road. Okay, so when you are traveling, you can see a milestone like 50 kilometers. Okay, which means which indicates that you have traveled that 50 kilometers so far, right? That's an indication. That doesn't have any duration. It's an indication. So generally milestones will have a duration is 0, and the representation is this. Similarly, I have some milestones. I'll select all of the milestones, and then all of them mark it as a milestone, so that I can get all the list of my milestones, all that list of milestones. See, as I was telling before, some of the industries, they will put all their milestones on the top as a 10 line items. Okay, they'll insert all the milestones here like this. They'll put milestones list. They'll put like this, and then document all their milestones here. Okay, but now the approach what we are following is, see, I want my milestones within the network. See, we have a schedule network diagram, right? You have a schedule network. So in this network diagram, I want to keep my milestones. Okay, then only I'll get to know in the timeline, in the track of your project, you'll get to know at what point your milestone is placed according to the timeline. Okay, this month I got 1 milestone, the next month I have 2 milestones to be achieved, so that the representation will also be good. No, instead of keeping all the milestones on the top, if you keep it in the network, it should be good. That's a good practice, in fact. Okay, so I identified all the milestones, and of course the attributes, activities attributes are keep updating. Okay, currently we have 4 activity attributes. So tomorrow we will get, next we'll get the predecessors, we'll get the resources, costing, everything will come. Okay, yeah. So after the define activities process,
Sir, I have one small doubt.
yeah.
Sorry to interrupt.
No.
Sir,
Yeah, yeah. You have to interrupt. Yeah.
sir, this milestone you're told kickoff, it's showing 25th of October.
Correct.
Okay. If you come to feasibility, section, there also it is showing milestone as 25th of October.
Correct.
How
Correct.
it
Correct.
is?
Now tell me why. I'm asking you a question. Why these two? All the, if you see, every milestone is on 25th of October. Correct.
Yes. Yes.
And if you observe the start dates of all your activities, all of
Ah,
them are starting on the same date. What is the 25th
okay.
October? That is our project
It's a
start date.
start.
Project start date. So now every activity is starting on project start date. Is it really happens like that?
No.
No. Now why it is showing? Because
Uh, start our project based on start.
correct, but it doesn't mean all my activities starting on the same date. I don't start
Correct.
all activities on the same date. So
Huh.
in order to get the start dates on its place, what do we need to do?
We need to schedule them, schedule the
Correct,
activities.
correct. We need to schedule the activities, meaning using the sequence process. How do we schedule? We need to apply those sequence methods, all that 4 types of relationships. Then only we will get the the proper. So we need to establish the dependency between activities. Understood?
Okay. Okay.
Establish the dependency. Let's say, so when do you when can we start this task? So officially for any project, kickoff is the trigger. So for this task number 3 to happen, kickoff should start first. Okay. So the relation between these two is a finish to start. So I can go and establish one link here. So there is a link established between these two. It says finish to start. So like that, I have 4 types of dependencies, which we already discussed maybe during your main course. So please recall all that information. So we have 4 types of relationships, okay, which can be established between any 2 activities. So one is the finish to start, the start to start, finish to finish, start to finish. So let us see here how it represents. So if I connect these two like this, okay, there is a link established between these two. And according to the dependency what you establish, the start date has been updated. So the link what we are establishing here is a logical dependency. Logical dependency. So finish to start. Okay, so every activity, for every task, you need to establish this logical dependency based on your experience, based on your expertise on your domain, based on the previous projects experience. Okay, how when can you start, when can we start? You just put that dependency alone, that's it. So tool take care about the start dates according to the logic. So generally see develop implementation plan. When can I start developing the plan? I need, see that is the first process here, right? So we need that project charter to be approved in order to start your schedule management. We need the project charter to be approved. There is a task, approve project charter. You get the contract, prepare charter and approve charter. So it takes 3 days. So I just put it. And this is the flow. Okay, so like that, I will go and establish dependencies for the first iteration. Okay, I just connect activities within the work package. Okay, just within the work package, all my activities will happen like this. No, within the WBS, this is the flow of my activities. So I'm connecting within the WBS one after the other. For just a quick glance, I'm just doing it. In the second iteration, I go and identify the work package. Okay, see, this is the gap. See, all work packages have been connected individually. So still every work package is starting on project start date only because I didn't establish it. So now when can I start my feasibility? So I can start my feasibility once my charter is approved. You go and put, okay, link from here to here. A link will be established. And there is one task, specification and plan approved by client. So which means the feasibility specification to be approved and also plan to be approved by the client. So in this task, two dependencies, one is 8, okay, the other dependency is coming from 4. Develop plan is also to be updated. And when do I place the order? Okay, since the scope is defined already in the charter, project charter, customer is approved for software this much, hardware this much. We don't go into details. So since it is already approved, I can, once the charter is approved, I can go and place my order. Can, 3, task number 3. Okay. But when it comes to receive software, so I place the order on 28th October. Can I get something on 29th October? No, I can't get. Okay, so there is a criteria here. Vendor says he'll take 20 days to send the material. So just put that 20 days in the lag time. Okay, to 12 FS plus 20 days, so that the waiting time, okay, lag is nothing but delaying the successor or pushing the successor to the future. So how many days you put? The 20 days have been pushed. So instead of 29th October, it went to 26th November because this is the 20 working days, 20 business days. Okay, excluding all holidays. So to take everything, so on 29th. So then after that, I'll go and find payment. Similarly, hardware, I'll place order after charter approval. And even for the receive hardware, I'll add that 20 days of lag. Okay, 20 days. So please go and read about lead or lag. Sorry, lead and lag. What is lead? What is lag in the book? So the practical implementation is this. Lag means delaying the successor. Delaying means it's a planned delay because all that waiting time, we can represent it in the lag, all that waiting time. So this task have to wait, okay, for 20 days in order to get the material. So that waiting time is given. And then these two are connected. And customization, in order to customize something, I want to have the software readily available. So task number 13 should be available. And also the specification plan to be approved by the client, right? So that approved document is required in order to customize something. So spec is also required. So 13,9, I put it. And for implementation, in order to implement, customization to be completed, no? So 23. And along with the customization, there is one more software installation testing. So, sorry, hardware I need. So I can connect it. Okay, let me also connect this to 29. So I just established the dependencies overall project. So the moment I completed my sequence, okay, on my right hand side, the schedule network diagram is formed. So this is the output. This is the diagram we are talking about, schedule network diagram. Okay, but in order to ensure that you have completed the sequence activities, we need to insert the successor and then see whether every activity is having successor or not. Okay, see, this task doesn't have successor. See, the thumb rule in sequence is every task should have at least one predecessor and at least one successor, except the first task and last task. So first will not have predecessor and last task will not have successor. But apart from, all other activities should have predecessor and successor. Then only we can call this as a network. Okay, so please remember these things. It's a very key word. So to complete the network, we need to have every task to be connected with at least one predecessor and one successor. So this doesn't have successor, I'll go and put a successor. After final payment, what do we do? I'll directly go and start my lessons learned documentation. I have this lessons learned. So what is the task name? Task number 31. I just
31.
put that, yeah, 31. Similarly, for this final payment also, you put 31. Okay, 31 is a successor. And now if you see, every task has one predecessor, one successor, right? There is no loose ends, so that I can say I just completed the schedule network diagram. Okay, but once you complete the schedule network diagram, we need to, analyze the network. So we got the total duration of the project, correct? We got the entire duration of the project. How did you get the total duration of the project? 82 days. How did you get this 82? Yes, come on. What is the calculation behind this 82 days?
Based on the predecessor and successor activities.
Correct. Based on the logic that we established. Based on the logic, it gave me 82 days. But now, see, not every task gives you the total duration as 82. Okay, some of the tasks are in non-critical items and some of the tasks are critical items. So we learned about the critical path concept, right? We learned about critical path. So tell me the characteristics of critical path. Anyone? Just at least one or two. What is critical path and what are the characteristics?
Shortest duration to reach the target.
Okay. See, the critical path is generally a longest path in the network. Okay, determines the minimum required time, to complete the project. Minimum time. Just in the air, if somebody asks you, how long will you take to complete the project? Now you can say that according to your logic, you got it 82 days. You can tell them, sir, I at least need 82 days to complete the project. Correct? No, this is your logic. So according to your logic, it will take 82 days, at least 82 days to complete the project. So that is the minimum required time. So this minimum required time is calculated from the critical path. Okay, I'll just group the critical activities here. On the top, I got non-critical activities, and in the below, I got critical activities. So these are the critical items which is forming this 82 days of duration. Not all. So all these activities are in non-critical items which has the floating time. Okay. So to differentiate between these two, I will go and enable the critical tasks so that all that critical activities have been highlighted with red color. So this forms the critical path. Okay. So when you see in the network, okay, so not when we are doing this kind of logic, apart from the waterfall model, we are not running all activities one after the other. So most of the activities are running in parallel. So when you do this kind of parallel activities, there could be chances of many paths. It is not one path. There are a lot of paths in your network. Out of all the paths, critical path determining your total duration. So that is the reason critical path is the longest path in the network, determines the total duration of the project. So this 82 has come from the critical activities. Okay. Now, see, I'm not going to discuss about the estimation techniques. Just go and read duration estimations. I'll just give you a brief. So we have three estimation techniques, right? One is, can you anyone tell me what are the estimation techniques? Duration estimation techniques. Anything? Do you able to recollect? Okay, so very important topic. Analogous estimations, parametric estimations, 3-point estimations. Have you heard this? You're able to recollect?
Yeah, but not gone through that completely, sir.
Okay. Okay. So see, one is analogous estimations. Analogous means, yeah, based on the previous similar project estimation. So when we run this kind of project previously, I got see that time we took 6 days to complete so and so task. You go and put that estimation. So that is the least accurate method, correct? So in previous project, maybe last year when you took 6 days. So today the world is changed. The current scenario is changed. The environment is changed. Okay, maybe based on the available, technology, you can complete it, can be completed it much ahead or maybe delay. Correct? No. So that is the least accuracy method. So while estimating the durations of an activity, if you don't have any clarity, if you don't have a clarity, then you can take up the previous project estimations. Okay, maybe for now, let me quote the previous analogous estimation. But the most accurate estimate is available, that is parametric estimations based on the current parameters and with the statistical analysis. It is like, so to paint a wall for one SFT, it will take this much. So if it is 100 SFT, multiply by 100, correct? So if you are excavating or doing the foundation, okay, you need to excavate the 200 SFT or maybe 2000 SFT land. So for one SFT, how long will it take? Multiply by 2000, you'll get an appropriate estimation, correct? That is parametric estimations. So you have to be thorough between these terms, estimation techniques. Definitely you will get a lot of questions, at least few questions, but which is really adds value. Analogous and parametric estimation. The third estimation is the 3-point estimations. 3-point, we know, right? What is 3-point estimation? Optimistic, most likely, pessimistic. There will be 3 values, right? So for any task you take, what is the optimistic value? What is the most likely value? The optimistic means the best case. Okay, if everything goes well, I can complete this task by 2 days. If all your team members are available to give you inputs to develop the plan, and with every scope and everything is cleared and it is there on your table, you can sit for 2 full days and complete the developed implementation plan, correct? Okay. See, at an average, most likely I can complete it by 3 to 4 days. Maybe if some of the team members are not available. But in the worst case, I can complete by 5 days. So that's the worst case scenario. So if you say optimistic, pessimistic, most likely, in the 3-point estimation, you can take an average by 3. Optimistic plus pessimistic plus most likely by 3. You'll get an average value. You can estimate the duration of the project. That is one way of estimating. So those are the 3 duration estimation techniques. Please refer back to the book and then get the complete knowledge. So I have estimated the durations also based on the logic and the durations. I got the start date and finish date and with the total duration. And now as part of develop schedule, okay, the next process is as part of the develop schedule, I should get the timelines, right? So I got the schedule network diagram, I got the durations based on the resource availability. Now I should go and develop my schedule. I should get the appropriate timelines. So one of the methods while developing the schedule is, one of the tool and technique is the critical path method. So applying the critical path, we can go and compress the schedule further in order to get the optimistic result or optimum plan, optimistic timelines. Okay. So to get the optimistic timeline, so if you take this duration to the approval, your customer or maybe your sponsor may not be approved. boss, this it won't well. I mean, it won't go well because the duration of the customer has given us total working days as 90. We need to complete the project within 90 working days, and every week of delay we will be penalized. That is the condition we are in. So if you plan for 82 days, see, projects will definitely be delayed, right? They won't go as planned. Any project if you take. So that is only the reason. One of the constraint is risk. So we also need to identify the risk and analyze the risk and also integrate the risk to your project plan, correct? So based on at least the known risks, we need to identify the contingency, at least include contingency to the plan. Hardly if you say, I just put some 9% to 10% of contingency. Okay, why to take risk? Okay, so I need to get the 98% confidence, please, to go with the project plan. This kind of, at least this kind of contracts, fixed budget contracts, fixed price contracts. So I want to increase my contingency. So go and analyze your network. So see, there are critical activities here. One is the customization and testing. See why these two are happening one after the other. Can I run these two in parallel? So this entire work package takes 30 days. So each task is performed by two different team members, and the test engineer cannot wait till the customization is completed. So he can start parallel to him, whatever he customized so far, he can start testing. No, you don't need to wait. So we modify the dependency. See, I'm not changing the logic. So here we can go and apply finish to finish, which means testing cannot be finished without customization. That is the logic, correct? So testing cannot be completed without the customization. So finish customization in order to finish the testing. So I'm keeping finish to finish, and I'll add a lag of 2 days, FF plus 2 days, so that it is completing on 24th, and testing guys, they can complete on 28th, because there is a calendar holidays here, Saturday, Sunday, so it went to 28th. So earlier it was taking 30, now it took 22 days to complete the entire work package. Since the compression happened on the critical path, definitely your total duration of your project may impact it, correct? So the total duration is also compressed, that 8 days have been reduced with this one small modification. So this is really, really important even in the exam. Okay, they may not put you the network and ask you to calculate, but they'll just put it. So who are the candidate activities, on which task you want to go and compress. So it's obviously a critical task. They may give you, is it okay, one of the options like critical task, or the total float is 0. So obviously the total float of critical activities is 0 only, no? They won't put multiple answers. Okay, if they say one right answer, it should be definitely clearly defined there as one right option. Either you'll get a critical task or total float 0 float task. Okay, you need to understand. So the total duration has become 74. So this is my optimistic plan. So customer gave me 90 days. So I maintain at least some 15% contingency to get the timeline. So I got the timeline of 74 days, which I can take this forward. Okay. So the formats, as I was telling, during the develop schedule, we need to decide the reporting structure in which form. Okay, this is one of the form of presentations. The Gantt chart is one of the important formats for the project management. This is the Gantt chart. So when you talk about the Gantt chart, it will always have two sides. On your left hand side is a tabular view, predominantly used for the input, put the data. This alone we need to for the data entry. So whatever you put the data here, the graphical representation of your left hand side is the bar view. So this is your left hand side. The right hand side is the graphical representation of the data. in form of bars. So that is why we call this as a bar view. This is a chart view. So both we put together, we can say Gantt chart view. This is the Gantt chart format. Okay. So please remember these words. Gantt chart is combination of tabular view and the bar chart view. Okay. Time. Yeah.
So just a general question, sir.
Yes.
So this critical path is not constant throughout our project?
Correct. Yeah, that's a good question you asked. So critical, if you understand the characteristics of critical path, so critical path is generally longest, and see, I have some points here. So critical path is the longest path in network, determines the minimum required time to complete the project, and the total float for critical path is always 0, and a delay in critical path delays the project finish time because float is 0. So there is no floating time. So if any delay in critical path, that delays the project. And critical path is dynamic. See, because the plan itself is dynamic. See, this is, see, sitting from 25th October, you have estimated the plan. So, okay, if everything goes well, you can complete it. Otherwise, tomorrow the scenario may change. So, if, according to your scenario, you have to change your plan also, right? Correct. So, from November, from November onwards, there will be, so there are the company policies have been updated, or government, they have changed the policy. So if they change this, this kind of, or maybe some regulatory policies they have changed, accordingly we need to act, correct? So those external dependencies may impact constantly your plan. So if the plan is impacted, we need to constantly change the plan. So if the plan is dynamic, so definitely the critical path is also dynamic. So tomorrow your non-critical item can become a critical, and critical activity can, non-critical activity can become critical, and a critical activity can become non-critical. It is possible. So critical path is dynamic.
So is there a chance, I mean, will there be a situation where the scheduled time is over? I mean, according to the contingency we estimated, that is also over. And if that situation comes, what are we supposed to do? How are we supposed to manage?
See, that is actually, so this situation is really, it's a critical situation, right? We call this as a crisis. So unless you are in crisis, you cannot, if contingency is over, all the chances is over, so we need to approach to your management that asking for the additional timeline, and we need to put the right, explanation what happened and what is the remaining. So if that, whatever you said, it's really worst case, ma'am. So in that cases, see, there will be a call whether to continue with this project, investing additional budget, or do we need to stop the project wherever it is. Correct. So in order to avoid such situations, now that is only the reason now they are implementing agile methodology into it. So if you implement your projects using the agile life cycle, okay, see, what we are talking about is a predictive all the time. Okay, but when we include agile brings out the early delivery, and also it gives you the minimum, viable product. Okay, see, working software in a frequent intervals of time. So it releases the deliverables in a frequent interval, which can be, the customer can realize the value. Okay, so you don't need to wait till the entire product is completed. In agile methodology, we will first release few components which customer will be able to start utilizing the component. Okay, you will release it, and then additional. So let's say WhatsApp has come, so we don't have all that status, all that in the earlier versions, right? But they're constantly improving, adding the other additional features in order to deliver. So once the initial beta version has released, across world have started using the WhatsApp, right? That's the advantage. So that is why organizations are moving into agile methodology.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Okay, so that is it. So from my end for today. Anything else you want to discuss? Do you have any other questions apart from?
So what
Sir,
will be the next step?
can-
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, please.
Good.
Sir, your voice is breaking.
Yeah, sir, can it possible to share this working sheet with us?
This
The
one?
previous one.
Yeah.
If possible, this one.
Yeah, I'll share it. You kindly provide your mail IDs in the chat so that I can.
Yeah. Sure, sir.
Okay, and also